morning. Oh, good afternoon. It's Friday. No, I was starting to get excited. Definitely Thursday. We are approaching September, a new month, and I've had this itch recently to do some decluttering and organising. I cleaned out the fridge in a vlog recently and it made me think about how I really needed to do the cupboards. I think maybe I'd mentioned in that video I wanted to sort of declutter some of my winter clothes before I switch over, so like looking through some of the clothes and, or maybe just like, I don't know, just having a little look in my cupboards, my drawers. My bedside table is a mess and I just want to do some sorting because I would love to decorate for autumn, and when Christmas comes up I just want to feel like I know where everything is. I'm in this kind of organisational era where I'm sorting my business out with my organisation and I really have the urge to do it with the house. So if you feel similar, I know that there's such a thing as a spring clean, but I do get this urge every year for this autumn clean just to declutter and sort. So that's what I'm going to do, and maybe you can put this video on in the background while you do the same to motivate you, because I really need to do some sorting. I'm going to start in the kitchen in the drawers that we use for our pantry, and also like the pantry jars. There's lots of jars in there that just, I'll show you, but we just don't use a lot of them, and I feel like it could be more sensible the way I'm storing things. So here is our pantry cupboard. We've got lots of jars here, but the issue is that a lot of these right at the back we don't use. I don't know if it's because they're at the back, I can't see them. I think it needs to be reduced. We've also got up here, which actually ironically is a bit more sensible because I know what's up there. We've got spices, sugars, and like pumpkin seeds, and then this is vegetables. And then down here we've got where we have like our sort of day-to-day things. But again, this has got a lot of food in here that has been sitting for a long time, but they're just very full. This has expanded because of like Alex loving to make so much bread. And then this is the drawer that's the worst because yeah, it's just full of stuff. We've got lots of snacks in here from this week. And then the bottom is the baking drawer. Oh, which again, it's just it's not bad, but it's not great, so I need to sort. Thankfully I did the fridge the other day, so that half of the food is sorted, but this is next. I will actually start by taking everything out of this cupboard first because it is too much to deal with inside the cupboard. I always recommend this. So here are all the jars. It's just way too many and there's not really a system to it, and also you can notice that none of them have been topped up. If you've been watching my videos recently, you know that there's been mental health things happening, and when you are feeling low and depressed and anxious, these kinds of things go to the bottom of your list of to-dos because they aren't actually that important. So it actually feels quite nice to have the motivation to do this again and feel on top of it, and I actually do get a lot of enjoyment from it. If you're someone who doesn't get enjoyment from it, do not put your pressure on yourself to have like jars and decant things, all that kind of stuff, but I actually do love it when it's organised. It makes my life easier. So let me know if you've got any tips as well when it comes to pantry organisation. I think having like a list of items is potentially helpful here. I think to begin with, what I'm going to do is I am going to list the things, like I said, that need to be eaten so that that can be used when I'm doing my meal plan, and that will hopefully help me start to be on top of this a bit better. But for now, I'm going to stock anything up that needs to be stocked, write down food that we need to buy and top up, and then jars that I'm really not using much that have like random things. Like we've got pasta, we've got 2 for pasta, but I swear there's a couple of them that are a bit like, I don't know, like why I have got loads of beans that aren't cooked, and I prefer to buy tinned beans just for ease, and I need to use these basically and then not buy them again like this. Other things like a ginormous jar of raisins. I don't need this many raisins. So things like that we're going to sort. I remember that I got a delivery from Buy Whole Foods online because we'd run out of some things. It's where we get a lot of our bulk foods. Nutritional yeast we buy in bulk, it's so much cheaper. You can get it in like a whole kilogram. I don't know if any of these, I'm not gonna put this in a jar because there's probably not a single jar that's big enough. And I basically decant this into a small jar, just where our spices are. So I'm just gonna put this in the cupboard. I wanna find maybe a better spot in the cupboard for bulk foods like these that are just too big to be decanting into jars. It seems pointless. We get the chickpea flour, organic chickpea flour from Buy Whole Foods online to make my morning chickpea omelette that I have pretty much every day. And I'm gonna put that one in the jar. Got 2 of those. And then this is the thing. Oh, this is like a free thing they sometimes do, is they give you these chickpeas, dry chickpeas. So I already have loads of dry chickpeas from the other times they've given this for free. You get like a discount if you spend, you get like a free item sometimes if you spend over a certain amount of money. I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna get my phone. So we're gonna have a little notes app and I'm gonna jot down the foods that I need to eat. So chickpeas. So we can make maybe some hummus. We could have a chickpea dal, or we could have chickpea masala. There's like lots of things that I could do if I cooked the chickpeas in a large batch. We have then got some seeds for baking bread. We've got 7 seed blend. That's the one Alex always gets for our bread. And then, oh, we've got 2 of them. Yeah, 7 seed for bread. So I might find a jar for these over some of the other things that are in the jars we don't use so often, because that's way more frequently used. And then we've got a 6-pack of organic coconut milk. I've mentioned this before, but the reason I like to get organic coconut milk is because there's a higher likelihood that no animals are involved, because if you didn't know, a lot of coconuts are picked and farmed by monkeys, which if you bought the Lucy Bee coconut oil, that's the one I always try and buy, it says on the front, no monkeys involved or no monkey picking. I can't guarantee, I don't know, it doesn't say anything about this on this particular coconut milk, but my assumption anyway is that if it's an organic farm, it's highly unlikely, in my educated guess, that animals are going to be involved. I feel like when you're getting ones from the supermarket where the origins are a little bit more murky, you're not really sure, it's more likely that there's something like that potentially going on. This says it's from Sri Lanka, and it says our organic coconut milk is made from the meat of mature Sri Lankan coconuts. It's 100% organic and natural. So yeah, let me know if you know of a coconut brand that specifies that no animals are involved. It's something that I'm mindful of, and there are vegan foods that still involve harm to animals or humans. Things like cashews even, I always try and get organic cashews, because again, it's one of those foods that when they're farmed, lots of people who are picking the cashews aren't treated very well. They don't have gloves on, which can cause burns, because the cashew nut coating causes burning, I think, on your skin. And there's lots of those sorts of things happening when it comes to harvesting foods. So if you're getting an organic cashew product, then there's less likelihood that those sorts of things are going on, because they're probably going to be more mindful and careful with their farming practices. Again, this is an educated guess, this is not foolproof, so please let me know if you have more information on these things, because I'm always trying to make better choices with my food, and I'm always making mistakes as well, so I always like to do better. I always think that organic is the best, it's to aim for. It's not always doable, your budget and with your availability, so it's not pressure I would ever put on anyone. If you can't even afford to think about these things, it's not pressure you should put on yourself either, because that's not your responsibility. But if you are able to be mindful about these things, it's something that I like to do, because it just makes me more aware of the food and where it's coming from, the food system, my food footprint, etc. It's just something that's always on my mind. And actually, when you buy things in bulk, it does make things more affordable. We've also got the organic chopped tomatoes. I don't think that these or the coconut milk are more affordable, they're still expensive, but buying organic in bulk is cheaper than getting organic by the tins singularly, for example, in a health food shop. And I cook with these a lot. Sorry, that was very long-winded. I'm gonna put some of these actually in jars and hoover the cupboard and start clearing out the things that are in the actual drawers. That's much better. Kept it to the essentials. Rice, pasta, quinoa, lentils, legumes, and flours for bread making. And this is kind of the situation over here. So I'm actually gonna decide what goes up the top, maybe now, and then see what I'm left with and do the drawers, because this is kind of what needs organising the most, because it's just full of like duplicates of things. We've made so much progress. I just realised I need to clean this shelf. So I've definitely organised things a lot better than they were before. The top was kind of a bit random, but now it's essentially just sugars and then like spare nuts and seeds. So kind of like baking and then spices. This is some muesli. I don't really eat muesli, so it's kind of just sitting back there. Chia seeds and cinnamon, kind of similar to the top, vegetables. And then here, like I said, this blimmin' thing keeps on coming off the flour thing, look. I've learned that actually doing short stickers for these doesn't really work on a curved surface because it just doesn't stick. And I've run out of tape, so I'm going to have to redo that another time. But yeah, this is essentials, the stuff we're using all the time: pastas, flours, legumes. I've moved the snack drawer to up here or somewhere else because it sometimes gets really full and it's hard to stuff, like when you have packets of crisps. So I thought that just made more sense. And then these drawers make so much more sense. So we've got jars, coffee, kind of like stock things. Here is flours for baking bread, and then grains and stuff, and sushi, just like cooking ingredients. And then this means that I can just shove things there that don't really fit. And then in here, I don't know why, but I had all these things kind of separated, but now we've got nuts, fruit and seeds and chocolate. So kind of like the ingredients you'd use for baking at home, or like making cereal bars, just dried ingredients all in one place, whereas before it was like seeds, nuts and fruits in separate drawers. And it's easier for me this way to see what I do and don't have. Obviously I have a lot actually in stock. And then the bottom drawer means that it's actually way less stuffed, and that means I can stock up on baking things, or peanut butters, and have room for things where I didn't before. Now I've got to sort this out. There's a couple things that I don't know where to put. I'm just going to try and recycle, and then I might actually, in here, this is the only last little bit, is up here. I'm just going to take those things out and put them somewhere properly, because I don't love them being in this corner cupboard because they get forgotten, and I think that this corner cupboard would be much better used for appliances. And I don't know, just storage for things that really that don't need to be used up, like not food, but appliances and things that you would use in the house. Maybe actually what I could do, because I've got loads of props in this cupboard, which is really difficult to access, I might move those over here, because obviously that's much easier for me to access because I can actually open it, because I have to move the chair to get in there. Yeah, good brainstorming, guys. I wonder what you want, Bobby. How do you know what time of day it is? That's what I want to know. There's someone whispering in your ear. Can you read clocks? Because I don't understand you. I've decided that actually these little baskets I've got, it's unnecessary to have 2 of them for vegetables, because it's only ever potatoes and onions that I put in there. So I can use the other one for the bulk bags that we buy. So like the chickpeas, the whole wheat, vital wheat gluten flour, and I can put the rice to the left of it because there's room, so that saves some space. So pleased with this cupboard. Now I've got like excess props. I don't actually have loads of extra because I tend, ignore the mess there, but I tend to keep a lot of them here. But it is much clearer now what I would like. I want to have like a list of things I would like to add. I need some like blue coloured bowls, and I need like a baking tray that's really old. There's like a few things on my list for photographs that I would like to gather, but there's just a few extras in there, much better. I cannot get over how pleasing these cupboards are. And I've just cleaned the kitchen up so that it's all nice and tidy. But that was quite the task, so I'll see you tomorrow. I think next I will do the cupboard in the garage. It's kind of a cupboard full of games that I shoved in there when we got that cupboard, and I haven't sorted it since. And then the ottoman in the living room. And like I said, maybe some of my clothes. But I might do that at the weekend, because I feel like I want to actually take some of those clothes out. It's definitely not cold enough, but I would like to do it in bits over doing it all in one go, and just maybe have a little rummage through my summer clothes and see what could be decluttered and put on Vinted. I already have a few things in my mind that I definitely would like to do that with, so I'll see you tomorrow. But successful start to the decluttering and cleaning. How satisfying. Good morning, it's the next day. Are you crooked? Well, it's the next day, and this was the cupboard I was talking about that needs decluttering in our garage. It's just full of lots of like games and things. So I think I just like shoved them in here, and there's no organisation to it. And there is actually an ottoman inside that I need to kind of decide what's gonna be where, because We tend to play games in here at Christmas time, and obviously there's the Xbox in here, but we have got that ottoman that's got lots of games in it, so I kind of need to decide like what's going where. And I think that this cupboard is empty. Yeah, so this one's pretty empty, which is quite useful. I think that that should be board games, because it's a nice big cupboard that you can slide the board games into. I think this should be all of like Xbox games, and then I think the ottoman inside should be for smaller games because it's not the biggest space, and sometimes I find when I like open it and put stuff back in, it's like you have to Tetris it to fit. And if there's space in here, we may as well use it. So let's quickly do this, and then I want to go up into my wardrobe and work on some of my clothes. There's just so much random stuff, like I genuinely don't even know what this is. So we've also got our very minimal selection of DVDs. When I went through my minimalism phase, I got rid of all my DVDs pretty much, bar the ones that I love, and I kind of regret it. Not that I ever use them, but there's something about like, I think streaming sites, I feel like at some point people are going to want to have their own collections of, maybe I'm just being very millennial about that, but I just feel like people are going to want to have their own collections of things. But I suppose you can buy them on Amazon or not on Netflix, but I know you can buy movies, so you can technically have them on there, but then you have to have a subscription. And I don't know, does anyone feel a bit like I'm getting to the point with subscription services? And I saw a video on TikTok the other day that was talking about this. It's like, when does it ever end? Because with capitalism, it's like this continuous cycle of always having to be subscribing and then paying for something else to then pay for something else to have something else, whereas it used to be that you'd buy a DVD and that was done and done. As an adult now, I do have this overwhelming feeling of there's always something that's coming that has to be paid for, or something else that you've got to subscribe to or click onto. And it is a weird world that we live in, and I do think that there is an end. There is an end to that, and people will give up with it. And I think potentially things like vinyls, I know that they're becoming a thing again. DVDs potentially, and just like having photo albums, just, I feel like people are going to get nostalgia for that and want to have those things physically in their lives, because they're going to get fed up of constantly having to pay for everything digitally. Or maybe not, but I'm beginning to start to feel that way. And I don't know about you. Let's look at the DVDs that we do actually have. I have an Audrey Hepburn collection because she was my icon as a teenager. Flight of the Conchords, one of the best TV shows ever made. Fellowship of the Ring. Actually, this is quite cool because we've just watched Lord of the Rings, and this is the sort of thing I mean, is that we watched Lord of the Rings on Sky, but there isn't the special extended version, whereas this is the extended version, which is kind of fun. And I assume that there's some extra things in here, maybe some like interviews and things, which you probably would only find on YouTube now. We've got Edward Scissorhands. That was another movie I was absolutely obsessed with as a teenager. Fantasia, one of my favourites, and just a classic growing up. And then we've got the Pokemon movies, which is Alex's fave. And then we've got the Harry Potter movies, all of them. And then my favourite movie, I've said this about a few of them, this was my favourite movie for like a decade or longer, Donnie Darko. Don't know if I would say it's my favourite movie now. This is the theatrical cut, director's cut, and Donnie Darko, just the original. But it's got that nostalgic thing in my life. I think I would love to have the Pride and Prejudice. My outfit today, my hair is inspired by Pride and Prejudice. I was trying to do the sort of hair that they do. I even said to Alex, can you see that this is Pride and Prejudice inspired? And he was like, I have no idea. That's the other movie I would love to have on DVD. Let me know your thoughts on that, but let's get on, let's stop chatting. Does anyone else have a gamer husband? Because look at his collection of games. Considering like what I said, obviously most of it's digital now. I don't understand. I mean, I get it because I used to be this way. But I am not really much of a gamer now. I do play Skyrim quite a lot, and I did Hogwarts Legacy and loved that. but I don't find the time for it. It's actually something I'd like to do more because I grew up as a massive gamer and I don't really do it as an adult as much as I'd like to. But look at all these controllers. That's, I'm not gonna put that on there. We've got all these different kinds. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, this is for the Nintendo, I think. Is this an Xbox controller? Must be, but it's different. And then this one looks really grubby and old. And then look at this one. I don't know why we don't use this one. This one's the coolest, the gold one. And then this is the Switch. And then I guess these are the Switch as well for like car games or Mario. I'm guessing that's the charger. So I just put these all in a basket. So it's a bit more all in one place. Oops. And that can go there. And then we've got this camera. Pokemon camera. I feel like that should go somewhere else. And then Alex does collect these little pop games. He's got quite a lot of them. I don't know where they all are. I feel like they're upstairs in our spare bedroom, but I might suggest to him to keep them all down here. I do draw a line. Maybe you would disagree with me on this, but I do draw a line where, because we're because we're a bit older, I don't really want these like out on display. They don't really fit the vibe of the house. But then sometimes I feel bad because obviously Alex loves this kind of stuff. Let me know where you land on that, if your partner has like a hobby that is maybe a bit younger, or something that they love that's a bit younger that you don't love the look of or don't really want like on display in your home. Because like I feel bad because I'm like, really, like it would make him really happy just having these like all up here. But it just like when you spend loads of money and time on like a really beautiful, basically like having those differing like loves. I suppose I love rooms to feel like old and traditional and aesthetic and just like calm, and so more like childlike things like this, I'm like, oh, I don't know about having that out, but then I feel bad. So let me know what your opinion is. I feel like lots of you are just gonna go, what does it matter? It's your home. Yeah, maybe I should just have a couple dotted about. Maybe I will open my eyes a bit, not be so uptight. It's like that TikTok where it's like, and then, what, I need to find the I'm going to insert it, but it's like, and then this grating, annoying, what's the sound? I need to find it.
And now I want to sit back and relax and enjoy my evening. When all of a sudden I hear this.
So I'm going to try and recreate this with my room. This is how it makes me feel.
And now I want to sit back and relax and enjoy my evening. When all of a sudden I hear this agitating, grating voice.
So I know I'm 100% not alone in this, because it's an entire TikTok trend of women showing their homes be all calm and lovely and pretty, and either one of two things, that their partner has left a mess, so they've like left crumbs out or clothes on the floor, or they've put their decorations that are very like boy like games, or even things like having their protein powders out on the side. Just being a girl, you just want to have girly things and everything be just so, and then boys want to have Pokemon figurines. I'm going to leave those three there because that's cute and maybe that'll make him happy, but I think he has got quite a few just in their boxes, and I think there are some upstairs, so I might bring them down here so they're all in one place for him in a little collection. And this cupboard also, I know I keep mentioning children, but we're at that age where that's what we're thinking about. This one day will be great for kids just to store all of their toys in, because there's actually quite a lot of room. This is a little toy that I'm pretty sure I don't think we bought this, or maybe we did. No, we did. It's for my niece when she comes over. So I will actually leave that there because it's handy if she's in this room. The other thing that you did actually declutter with me last year, I think, was this cupboard. And to be honest with you, I actually haven't really used this cupboard, and so I want to do a very, very quick organise, especially this, because I have a lot of these like camera bits that I just don't touch, and I could do with a couple of other phone tripods or something and really decide what I use and what I don't use. And I need to order something different because I think that these are potentially freebies I've got, or ones I've collected that are broken, so I need to do that. I've got a pile here that is my receipts that I just shove, so I just want to just quickly, very, very quickly, just check up on this. And also there's a few things that I do want to sell that I'm going to take out. I love this cabinet because it was in my parents' house growing up. It was in our family home, and it's where they stored all their LPs. And then when they moved into a smaller house, they didn't really have a place for it because they got different storage for their LPs just so they could be out on display. They got like storage on the walls, and I just love it. And I know it's going to be so useful over the years. And this room, like I said, it's gonna, realistically, this room is going to be a room that when we have children who are getting older, they're going to come in here and hide out and play. That means I can just shove everything in there. Future wise, it will be good storage and useful. This is always very fun to look at, is all of the magazines and newspapers that I've been in. I've kept all of them, like Tesco, Co-op Food, Stella magazine, Heat magazine, Grazia, Natural Health, Cosmopolitan. I was also in Glamour, but I don't think I got that one. And then also a couple of newspapers like The Sun. There were a couple of newspapers again for, I think I wasn't as good with my Make It Vegan book at getting all of the magazines because I was in a couple of newspapers, but it's very cool to store that kind of thing for future reference. And all of this is me being disorganised since organising this. So we've got receipts that I need to put away. This is all organised now and I feel so much better. We've got a couple of things to take back inside. And then the last thing that has been on my mind, which is most likely just going to be done this weekend, is I need to take this computer off, swap it for this one, and we're going to be selling my iMac because I don't need to. My sister works with me, but she only does a half day on a Monday, and I don't really use this as much as I use my laptop because I tend to be floating around the house. So we're going to sell that, and then Alex is going to have his computer there, and it will make it just a lot simpler. Look at this little doggy. The sun is shining outside today. Got our clothes hanging. In fact, we really ought to put those outside. I'm going to do that now. Here is the ottoman that needs sorting. So we've got quite a lot of games and things in here, so I'm thinking the board games should go next door and maybe just like the smaller ones should stay in here. I'll have a little think, but it kind of just makes it so that it's quite difficult to close when it's this full. And there's also lots of my niece's books that have been just left when she's come round, so I might take those out and ask if they want if my sister wants them back, but she may just say it's fine to leave them here. So yeah, I'm just going to sort all through this. I think I'm going to leave puzzles in here because it's more likely I'd do a puzzle. I think there was one next door, and I actually would like to buy another puzzle because I really love doing puzzles. They're very calming. But we've got this very random Brussels sprouts one, which I feel like is a Christmas gift, but that's so funny. I need to do this because it's just a jigsaw of Brussels sprouts. And then I've got a Christmassy one, which I haven't done yet and I need to do. And then we've got this, which my niece always plays with when she comes here, and she knows that this is where all the toys are, so I'm going to put all the little cuddly toys in here. And then these books, I'm going to leave them in here, but when they're around next I'll ask them if they want them or not, but I think they're quite useful for them to be here, to be honest, but they may want them back. And I'm going to take these next door. These books, I think I'll leave these in here too because these are Alex's books. And then this can go next door. way less full now, which is better. You've got room to put things in there. How nice and fast.